I don't know if the intro worked or not. It was too laggy on my end. It was probably fine for you guys. Welcome to Rokk Players. We have another Thursday and another awesome show for you guys. Joining me today, we have Ray3473.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hello. How are you, man?
Doing great. Really excited. Got some really cool news dropped today. Got a DLC that dropped today. Um, and just been gaming. It's
Yeah,
good to
you
be
got
here.
your stuff cut out for you then.
Yes.
Yeah. And welcome, Stephen Warhawk. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Played anything interesting in the last couple of days?
I've been trying to do some Resident Evil on the first Resident Evil game, trying to do some content for that. So I'm trying to get busy with that, doing that.
Yeah. Ray, have you played anything of interesting?
Really just a lot of Marvel Snap.
Yeah,
BG, a
Marvel
lot
Snap.
of Marvel Snap,
I feel
and
like I dodged a bullet by not getting bit by that bug. I tried it a little bit
it
and
is
like got
addictive.
really into it for like 2 days, and then something sidetracked me, and I
They
haven't been
had
back
a
since.
they had a new card like right before your stream. I just got the card Silver Samurai, so I'm pretty stoked about getting that. And then of course, I've been playing some BG3, preloaded Starfield. I'll be playing that, and then yeah, excited.
Nice,
Playing Madden football on my PS5.
nice. Steven, did you get into Marvel Snap?
Well, I don't think I ever knew of it until now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a time sink. Let's just put it that way. it's it's one of those like what is a match takes what like 2-3 minutes, something like that. Like it's super quick to play a
It's
single game,
very quick, very quick.
but it's a lot of fun. Like the little I played it, it was like this is really good. It's so I'm like in a sense I'm sad that I didn't get stuck in, but I'm kind of lucky because I would have eaten my all my time up. Um, and yeah, and I mean I haven't played that much at all this week. Really, to be honest, I played a little bit of Baldur's Gate, but otherwise it's been very little gaming. It's been the first week back working again after 5 weeks of vacation, so that
Nice.
has led to me being very tired. But that doesn't mean the news don't stop. And don't worry, we had Phoenix. The mysterious chair is Rudy, so he will be here in a minute. He went to get water, and then I think his connection went down. So hopefully we'll have him back in a minute. We'll also be joined by Kirk later down the line, and also Silas Renagel from the Enigma Dragons, indie developer making a card battler that I really, really like. They'll join us later down the line. And who knows, maybe some more. We'll see. But in the meantime, let's get cracking with some news. Because there's been a lot of. So, PlayStation, let's begin with some bad news.
Oh
PlayStation Plus
god.
12-month subscription gets a price bump. I actually haven't checked how much more expensive it's going to be. So
Yeah, it
yeah,
is.
okay. Ooh, that's a $20 increase for all of for the cheapest, $30 for extra, and $40 extra for premium for the full year. That's steep. Damn, I didn't think it
uh
was gonna be that bad. So yeah, this, who's gonna like? Are you on place any tier of PlayStation Plus at the moment, you guys?
I'm a premium. I do have PlayStation Plus. What can you say, man? Like, inflation, especially out here where I'm at in the States, everything is going up. And I just knew it was a matter of time they start upping the Steam subscriptions, and now here we got PlayStation Plus. My only thing is this: just put out some more PS5 games. The game that they had, Saints Row and Zero Nation and some other, I think, what is it, Black Desert something. I just think if you're gonna raise that much, just give us a little bit more games. That's all I ask. But
Yeah. Steven, do you have PlayStation Plus?
Right now the PlayStation Plus Premium as well was like renewed back in January for was like about $8 for the premium for it 1 year during a holiday sale that you were doing.
Yeah, you think are you gonna keep it when it's time to renew, or is it gonna
Or
be?
if I renew it, it could probably be about the essentials probably it's
Yeah,
gonna be a
like I feel like extra is such good value that I might drop down to extra, but even then, that stings. So currently, I feel like I should, like I'm currently at the level where I feel like I probably won't keep, like I will definitely not keep premium because it's way out too expensive and I don't use the premium features well nearly enough. Extra maybe if I can find a discount. That's where I'm at right now because it's like this. If it was, and that was like I was at that mindset even with the $20 increase on across the board, but with like 20, 30, and 40, yikes. I feel essentials is not great. I feel essentials is too pricey for too little. Premium is way too pricey. Period. I think one of the biggest, like as you say, Ray, when they increase the price like this, I think people will expect higher quality of service, more stuff in there, and
that's all I
I
ask.
don't think we'll get that. I think this is just a no. It will. Let's blame it on inflation. Let's jack up the prices and get more money to make up for the fact that that money is worth less. I think it's just. I don't think it's going to be more value to it. To be honest, that said, extra is pretty good value as it is. Um, so I don't know.
Stinging right now. It's stinging
Yeah,
right now. I'm not gonna
I'm.
lie. It stings because I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the hike, but I'm looking at the 3 games that they have, and I'm just like, can we get a little bit more?
Yeah,
um,
and it's like if you look at extra, extra is still like 300 games. That's at that point you can be like, I mean, it's basically Game Pass for slightly like around the same price, maybe a little bit more.
right.
Um, but it's still a pretty good value. But like Essentials is just too expensive for what you get, and Premium is just expensive. Period at this point.
Right.
Um, and yeah, so I'm lucky I'm covered until July.
And, and
But
and
after
if you
that,
go and if you go on their blog, you can look under their blog in the comments. There is a lot of people that
yeah,
were
let's go
not
there.
happy.
Let's go
Let's
there. But
go.
but
Let's
on the
go.
way there, let's just mention the fact that the September monthly games for the essential tier and anything above is Saints Row, Black Desert Traveler Edition, and which is an MMO, and Generation Zero. What do you guys feel? Is it a good month for PlayStation Plus
I
Essentials?
mean, I played Generation Zero. For those who haven't played the game, I think it's a great game. I played it, but I played that
Don't
game
worry,
came out like
Release.
a while back. As far as Saints Row, I never got the game, so I'm looking forward to playing it. But I just got some other news later on the day about the company,
Yeah,
so
which we'll also
it's
get to.
just
It's a
so
crazy, good
it's crazy
segues. I'm not
day.
ready for them.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
but nothing. If you're gonna do an increase and throw that on somebody, you gotta sweeten it up for the month.
oh yeah. I mean, let's just check the comments. It's like,
They're right
uh,
there. Oh, go underneath. You're right there underneath.
there we go. Yeah, I think unload. Yeah, wow. Price increase along with the trash lineup. Um, can I minimize that? No, I can't.
Like, look at all that guy wrote. Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of. Uh, yeah, and like that much, and it's not good. Like it's criticism and angriness, and yeah, these comments are not like people even jumping at the controllers here. There's absolutely no justification for the disgusting prices. Yeah, it's like people are not happy, and I get it. Um, but I mean that said, Generation Zero I've always been interested in because it looks very much
It's a great.
inspired by,
I'm not no spoilers. Great story. Awesome
yeah,
story. And
and like the look of it, it just gives me so many vibes from Simon Stålenhag. You remember Tales of a Loop? Like it's a Swedish. If you haven't seen it, it's a Swedish illustrator who does like digital paintings,
That's where
which are
the
incredible.
area is where you're at
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
And
and it's funny because someone pointed out to them in an interview because it is a Swedish company making Generation Zero.
mhm.
It's set. It's very much in that vibe and the way. I mean, yeah, we love his work, but like this is not. It's not. We're not copying him. Him. It's not. It's not part of that. It's just we just like it, so we did something like obviously that affected us, but it's not. We're not. And Simon seems fine with it. So like, don't jump on him for stealing anything because it's just enjoy the incredible world that they've built. So yeah, it's in 1980s Sweden. I had to play that. Like, but yeah, feeling exactly. I didn't. I looked at the blog. I was like, oh, they haven't put anything out about the price hike. I just searched through other articles,
yeah,
and
that's
then
how
when you
I
scroll,
Miss Phoenix. I feel the same way. That's
yeah,
how
and
I
then you
took
scroll
it.
down, and it's like, oh wait, what's this? Here it is.
Yeah.
So and like the crazy part is, even at $160 for the year, PlayStation Plus Premium 12 months of subscription is still cheaper than buying 1 or 3 months at a time, which is insane. Yeah, Generation Zero. Steven, have you played it, or are you gonna
I
play it?
haven't, I haven't tried it, but I might check it out when I'm able to. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have to check it out because it is, after all, set in Sweden.
Rude.
There we go,
Hey
Rudigs.
guys, what's up? What's up?
Fill us in. How do you feel about PlayStation increasing the prices and the September lineup?
Well, the PlayStation subscription rising is actually a greater symptom of what we see about subscriptions across the board.
Oh
You
yeah,
see,
hundred
Wall
percent.
Street has moved the needle on what makes subscriptions valuable. And when it used to prioritize subscriber amounts and how many people are on your platform, that's when we saw the prices being extremely low. Now they're moving the needle and saying, well, your platform now needs to be profitable. So we're seeing subscriptions across the board just start to rise up. You see it with Netflix, you see it with Game Pass. Now you're seeing it with PlayStation, Apple. Everything is so expensive. To get your standard cable package that you used to have with all the streaming services is now cost more than cable used to cost. We've come full circle,
Yeah,
and
very much
gaming's no
so.
different.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're 100% right. But what do you feel about the September lineup of games? Generation Zero, is that have you checked it out, or is it a new game for you?
Generation Zero, not on my radar. Unfortunately, the only thing on my radar is a mech with missiles trying to get me because I am
Yeah, you
full on armored
Armored Core.
core. I
So
mean,
yeah, but I mean, when you're done with
it's a
Armored Core,
masterpiece,
oh,
which will
that
be
it's that
never
good.
because there's
Yeah,
new
well,
games. New Game Plus adds new levels for anyone out there wondering. There's new missions
really,
with New Game Plus. Plus, New Game Plus, it gets the coral weapons. So then your weapons start to get infused with the fires of Rubicon. You want to take that into the
uh,
arena. Oh, some PvP
it sounds
action.
so
Oh
hard.
my goodness. Oh, that's why you got to be armored to the core.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh my
I
gosh.
realize that for
The
me, but yeah,
direction behind it, the story. Yamamura has done it again. Sekiro Shadows Die
nice.
Twice was the first one that these guys directed. Obviously, a game of the year. The game was performing extremely well. People hold it in high regards, and now, look at Usuku.
Utku, thank you for becoming a member. Sorry to cut you off. Yeah.
Yeah, From Software is bringing the heat, and I love to see it. And so this game came out so
Yeah.
scored very high across the review boards, and I could not be more pumped about this.
Yeah. I mean, it's Armored Core Team is one of those, like, it's I can appreciate it's an amazing game, but I don't think I will pick it up at any point. Like, it's not a me game, but I can also see that it's for the audience that it's built for. It's a masterpiece for sure. The little I've seen from it. Oh, is it that is expensive? Is the Game Pass Ultimate that expensive, Rock? Thank you for popping in with that info, because I thought it was less than that, but yeah, you're right. It's probably that much.
Yeah,
Um,
but with Game Pass, you're getting day and date games.
yeah,
And
I mean, it's different value propositions in a sense,
so
but still.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Generation Zero. I don't think it's one to sleep on. Ray,
no,
you liked it,
heck,
and
love the game.
yeah,
Especially I play it at
and it also
night.
with mechs.
Jump
To be
scares.
honest, it's like
It
the
is.
first-person open
Uh,
world adventure with a familiar but hostile open world of
yeah,
1980s Sweden. Battle and survive deadly machines alone or with three friends in seamless co-op, as you could discover the truth behind what's happening to the region. Sounds great. It's a bit like, but yeah, very, very much like I love the vibe of it. Black Desert Online is an MMO. I think it's like if you personally, I'm full of MMOs already. I'm good with Guild Wars 2. That's gonna keep me busy for years. Don't need another one. But what do you feel? Are you guys open for another MMO? Any one of you?
al- always, always
Really?
love MMO. Always, always,
How about you,
always.
Steven? You're in the market for an MMO?
Uh, I I don't think I've done much more than MMOs in the old.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm
Steven's
not
on my side. He's armoring up his core. He's going
exactly.
out. He's destroying the mechs. Um,
Uh,
MMOs obviously draw you in. I love the community. Destiny 2 was something that introduced me to the MMO universe. I never really played an MMO before. Granted, I know Destiny 2 is different than your standard MMO, but I love the community aspect. Raids, getting into clans, doing these day one runs. Absolutely so much fun, got me into podcasting. So love
yeah,
MMOs, but they got to taste right. They got to
yeah,
make
yeah, and they
have
take
that
a lot of
fun
time as
reward
well.
cycle.
Like you got to put in the effort and time to get into them. Like, in most cases, not all of them. But
Is
they are like,
Diablo an MMO?
I think
No,
it's adjacent at least. I wouldn't.
adjacent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And like most MMOs, to be fair, you can play as like massive single player games. I do that with Guild Wars 2, and it works great. That I love it. Like I don't like, yes, there is like the raids and the meta events and the whole like community side to it. I just don't engage with it because I don't have time for that shit. But I
Right.
do love the story and gameplay.
I used to be in Elder Scrolls. I used to be in that MMO. I used to play New World, which I used to love. New World, fixing up my apartment, going and selling stuff at the market, and then just going out and hunting. But yeah, it's always something else comes up, and I jump back and jump into that.
Yeah, and Saints Row, obviously, Ray, you haven't played it. I haven't played it either. But but just like you, it's one of those like, oh yeah, that would be fun to check out. Um, Steven and Rudy, so you're gonna check out Saints Row, or have you already played it?
Well, I haven't checked it out since it was new one yet, but it would be one I might want to check out to see how it is compared to the other ones I played.
Yeah, and for me, I absolutely had a medium amount of fun with it back on Stadia. It provided some good times. I enjoyed playing with friends. I remember SPG. Shout out to SPG. Wishing you well on your road to recovery, man. We're all thinking of you.
Yeah,
Yeah, we he threw it up on stream. We were gaming together. We were having a good time as you were able to have two-person co-op. The only thing is he had it on stream mode because he couldn't play the music, but I didn't have it on stream mode. So I was listening to X gonna give it to you. He gonna give it to you while I'm just blowing stuff up, and it really amplified the
oh
experience.
yeah, for sure.
So it's definitely it loses something without the music, but you want to have friends with it. You want to have the music playing,
Yeah,
and that really produces the best quality experience in my mind for that game.
yeah, and I mean it is pretty much in the same vein as Just Cause or the way I see Far Cry 6, even though I don't think Far Cry 6 teams would view it like that. It's just one of those games where you go like just have fun and blow shit up. Just like the Expendables. The Expendables aren't great movies, but they're fun movies. Like when
Mhm.
you're in the mood for them. Saints Row feels very much in the same vibe of just go
My
in there and
one of my
match it up.
son's favorite franchise. My son loves this franchise, so I'm pretty sure he's definitely going to be playing it on the PS5.
Yeah, good to see it be played. We'll briefly mention GeForce Now before we move on to other stuff, and then come back to GeForce Now. Our friend from the old Stadia community, InLead from Germany, has discovered that, hey, would you look at that? 1,700 games are now available on GFN. Who would have thunk? Yeah, I think like it wasn't. I feel like they had a dry spell for a bit there during this, like before the summer, but now they're really kicking in gear. It wouldn't surprise me if we reach 2,000 before the end of the year. But yeah, thank you, InLead, for making me aware of that. Are you guys excited for the feudal Japan Assassin's Creed that's in development?
I love Assassin's Creed, so yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, we have some leaks. There's a tabletop RPG in the works within the Assassin's Creed universe that I'm pretty excited about. I mean, that sounds cool. But in the like early access material for that, or some material that's been shown online for that, you'll notice that this image we recognize, and when you start from the trailer, and we start reading through the lore, you realize there's actually some lore in here of like with some characters and some information on of things that will likely covered in the game itself. Um, but so if you're interested in checking that out, I would head over to Access the Animus on social media or on their website. Some other game-specific news: the Baldur's Gate 3 is obviously one of the bigger games of this year. They have released the the first major patch recently. I think the second one is out now or something, or just recently. I think I saw a post earlier today about it. But they're also where they've worked a lot on performance. They've also in the one of these patches added a new ending to Karlach's story. If you like, so if you're not happy with the way her story ended, you will see that there's now a new end. And the only this blog post on how they will keep working from here on out, and it seems like they will keep supporting the game and making it better over the years to come. So if you're on the fence about Baldur's Gate 3 and you decide that Starfield, Armored Core, all the other games coming out later this year, Spider-Man, if you feel like feel like waiting for Baldur's Gate 3, turns out it might not be a bad idea. It's a masterpiece game as it is, in my opinion, but it's gonna be even better in like a year's time with patches. They're not slowing down at all. So just thought that we'd get the mention before we get to the sad news that Saints Row maker Volition Games are now closing down.
Wow.
This was announced
30 years,
today,
man.
and I think was it yesterday that we got the PlayStation Plus news. So, yeah. Any thoughts?
Really sad because when you think of companies shutting down, that means that people are losing their jobs.
Yeah.
I hope I've read somewhere where they're going to try and see where they can find some jobs for some of the workers and stuff like that. But it's tough, man. I remember when the first Saint Row game came out, and I remember going to GameStop and picking it up. I got it for the Xbox, and I was playing it, and man. This is, yeah, it's sad. It's really sad, and it's kind of weird. I'm just saying that you got a game company shutting them down, and it ended up on PlayStation Plus. I don't know if that's coincidence
Yeah.
or what, but yeah, it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah, it is.
I hate to see companies lose.
1993 they started.
Yeah,
They've been around for quite a while.
Here's the unhinged perspective. Nobody's gonna like this. Sorry. They Saints Row started out as a copy to GTA.
Yep.
Am I right in that?
Yeah,
And
pretty much.
what I think we can all we can all learn from a lesson here is they went hard into let's just copy what GTA is. Let's see some originality. Come out with a different game, throw in new perspectives. I mean, they tried to go over the top, but none of it was able to stick as hard, obviously, as GTA. And
Yeah,
I'm just saying, I
No.
just think people need to be more original today to be successful.
They wasn't the only ones because you had a game called True Crimes. There was a lot of GTA games that
Yeah, for sure.
clone that came out, but the Saints Row though they did also some sexual, you know, stuff as well, and it was more of a comedy. They were making it's almost like they were making fun of
It was like
GTA
a
and trying to.
parody.
It was a parody, so
Yeah.
and that's why I kind of look at it. You know, GTA was more like a simulation to me, and that was more like arcade.
yeah. I mean, they
Saints Row
did
is more like
a
arcade.
their first game was a first person shooter,
Yeah.
in a shoot 'em up style, called Descent. And then they
Yes.
kept doing the Descent games for a while. They did Free Space 2, Summoner, Red Faction, Summoner 2, Red Faction 2, The Punisher, Saints. Then we had the first Saints Row, Red Faction Guerrilla, Red Faction Armageddon, more Saints Row,
Ooh,
Agents of
Red
Mayhem.
Faction. Did
Yeah,
you ever play that one?
I
They
never
should have
did.
brought that back.
Oh
So
my
Red
god!
Faction
Thank
had
you. It was
you had the
awesome.
ability to break and destroy everything. You were a demolitionist, and your whole open world was destructible. Like that system blew me away when I first saw it
I
because I think it
I
was 360 back in the days.
right. I was a huge fan of the story. Plus, also they came out with part one, part two, and some other stuff where you're on the Mars and you're in a prison and you have to escape. Awesome. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Welcome, Silas.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Are you guys
Yeah.
talking about Red Faction?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you
It's
enjoy
like,
that back in the day?
Oh,
yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah. So yeah, because I mean, Faction was obviously made by Volition, and Volition is closed down as of today. Part of the Embracer group, and Embracer is going through a major restructuring after the failed $2 billion deal that they were hoping to get, or thought they had gotten, and then turned out they didn't. Um, but yeah, not great news. But since we have you here, Silas, like how do you think this, because this isn't the only layoff. We also have the Me Games behind Shadow Gambit and Shadow Warrior as well, the stealth series. Do you think like it feels like there's a lot of like AA studios going down? Do you think there's a like is it something you've said, like heard in the as a developer? Maybe you have some connections on the developer side, or like is there anything happening in that you think we're all missing here? Like,
I don't know that there necessarily is. I think things are always changing. Big companies are always restructuring things, and
yeah,
sometimes things go well, sometimes things don't. But it, most of that's just the ebb and flow of the industry. I wouldn't say I think this represents any bigger trends.
yeah, that's good to know. That feels reassuring to me. Like, oh, good. It's like it's not just me guessing that it's not anything.
I just think some games have a big budget, and when you invest a lot of money in games and you don't come out, you know, if it don't make dollars and it don't make sense, and so they got to shut it down. That's just business,
Yeah,
you know. But it just sucks though that people have to lose their jobs, but that's the nature.
yeah. Silas, you're hiring?
Not currently, but we might.
Uh,
We've got a couple projects that are we're beginning to do some initial research and development on.
Yeah, who
So
knows?
who
Who
knows?
knows?
Maybe 2024. Or
Yeah,
we're
maybe you can pick up some Volition people who worked on Red Faction or something. That could be
yeah. I know
interesting.
Volition's a company I've loved for years. I think one of my favorites was Free Space. They did an amazing
Yeah.
job with Free Space. That felt to me like I think that was the pinnacle of space like gameplay that I've seen. Like they took some of the ideas from Wing Commander and X-Wing series and like took it in a different direction, and I loved those games.
Yeah, I mean they've been around for 30 years. It's crazy. It's one of those studios you didn't really expect to close down all of a sudden. But yeah, I mean, since I know you won't be here for long, I do want to just shout out because I love your game. So for those out there who haven't heard of your game, you want to pitch it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're the creators of Metroplex Zero, and we just left early access and hit full release this week. And Metroplex Zero is a team-based card battler. So you're building your whole squad like a JRPG, and the classes really matter because you're going to end up playing your party totally differently if you've got one character in your party compared to a different kind of character. And um, we don't have dual triple text like you have in Chrono Trigger, but we do have that idea of synergies where some heroes really are able to amplify certain aspects of other heroes' powers. And then we've got kind of a lot of the replayability because it's a roguelike. So you're going to get different card drops in your runs and you're going to face different foes. I'm very excited about this. It's a good blend of JRPG, card battler, and kind of your classic turn-based strategy role-playing game. And really excited just by the community's reception and getting
Yeah,
this
I
out there
mean,
for the hardcore gamers who love to find and discover really complex and powerful synergies.
yeah, I mean, you're sitting there at a very positive rating on Steam, and that's not that easy to get. Like, you gotta really put in some effort to get it to get a overall rating of very positive on Steam these days. I feel like so yeah. I mean, you've done a great job. I love the game. Best card battler I've played so far. Um,
Thank you kindly.
but yeah, so what does it mean for you guys to leave early access? Like, how has that journey been?
Yeah, it's been a good journey. So one of the things we wanted to get is we had our initial playtesting. So one of the hardest parts about designing a good card game is really designing it both for addictive gameplay and also getting the balance right. How do you create it so you've got a good blend of a diversity of strategies that work and are fun and feel good? And one of the things that can ruin that is having what they call dominant strategies. If there's one or two builds that are obviously the best and overshadow everything else, then often players will end up veering towards those particular dominant strategies and they won't necessarily experience or play with some of the other things that are also fun in that space. So I think what we wanted to really do is we wanted to make sure there was a lot of different powerful strategies that all felt good and also felt very different. They should have a really unique feel. You should feel like you're doing something cool and unique because you built a specific synergy. And so one of the things we wanted from the early access was to collect a lot of those metrics to see what cards are being picked, which heroes are being picked, which heroes is nobody playing, and then find out like why. Why is nobody playing? We had this hero Lexi who was underpicked. Like
He's so
he was
good.
a favorite of the developers and a couple of the players, but across the whole player base, like not enough people were playing him. And one of the things we found out is it just wasn't clear enough from his like character description and his initial cards, like what would he do? So we kind of mitigated that by making just his play style a lot more clear so people knew what they'd be getting and why they'd want to play him. And then that helped improve that. And we also use the metrics to kind of see which cards or enemies were overperforming or underperforming. Are there enemies who like are just ruining players? And there were a couple. And are there also enemies who like are just a joke? Like players are running them over every time and not suffering any damage. We make them so they can hit a little harder, feel a little more meaningful, so players don't just ignore them. And that was the part I think I was most excited about. But we've also got a lot of technical improvements. We've got the game working on the Steam Deck. We've got controller support. We got Linux builds. We got a couple more languages with Spanish and Portuguese. And we also improved the performance. So you get a bit more frames per second on your computer. I know on mine I was getting like 400 frames per second now. So that
Yeah, that's
means
pretty decent.
even people with a toaster oven are probably going to be able to see the game at a pretty decent frame rate
I have
as
to
opposed to
say
stuttering action.
the soundtrack is amazing. So for $20, you can get the game and an awesome soundtrack. So I just went and clicked over on the Steam page, and the music with the cards and the back and forth, that that's something that's my type of game that I really like. So
Yeah, you'll love this
and I
game, like
love
it's
I I love my card games. So
oh yeah, yeah,
I'm for the
like
price and for the soundtrack, that's a hell of a deal. So yeah, you guys go out there and purchase that.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, the soundtrack was definitely a labor of love. We worked with two different composers, and then I think one of them did maybe 8 of the tracks, and the other ended up doing about 4. And yeah, we got a really good blend of different atmospheric feelings. But I love the futuristic rock feel that we really got going there. I think we got a sound that not a lot of games have. We went a little heavier than some games. Didn't stick with the ambient, kind of background music. We wanted something that would stick in your brain afterwards and that you'd be humming to yourself. And there's some tracks in there that I definitely hear in my brain when I'm driving down the road.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those, like, I played, as you mentioned, Alexei was one of my favorite heroes on my first a couple of playthroughs, and then I played him with another team, and suddenly he was so bad, like, it's the team, like, because I played him like I play him with the other two teams, and then I realized, oh, I need to think completely different or on the same character because he's in a different composition, which is like, that level of complexity is nice to see as a big fan of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, I think that's what really capitalizes on the true idea of teams, is that you've got different people, you got a different chemistry. And I think that's true in real life. Like, different people have strengths and weaknesses, and you work with two collaborators and you're going to create something totally differently than if you work with two different folks. We wanted to really capture that idea so that all these characters have a lot of ways they can play. But do you actually, as a player, are you forced to kind of figure that out and build something unique? And that's the part I believe we captured, and that no other card battler is doing that team-based composition. Most of them are solo heroes, and a lot of just block and attack flows and things along that, but less of these heroes interact this way.
Yeah, I would say it plays closer to like a Magic the Gathering or game than like Slay the Spire in a sense, but also being very close to Slay the Spire. But yeah, so, well, like if you like, was this your first time doing early access? Or
yes. Yeah, this is the first time with the early access experience. With our previous games, we've done a lot of smaller ones, and also our last commercial release was a puzzle game. With that one, we sort of had it solved, and there wasn't as much we could learn from the metrics, whereas with this, I knew we definitely wanted to get those metrics and the feedback from the community to end up making the thing that really hit everybody's taste. With the puzzle game we built before, it's kind of an it is what it is thing. You either it clicks with you really well or it doesn't, but it doesn't appeal to as broad an audience. This one we wanted to really see, like, how can we appeal to a lot of different player types.
Yeah. So, like, so apart from the metrics, would you say there was any other benefits of doing early access?
I think it just increases the overall quality of the game. So it depends. Like, I know there's pros and cons. The downside of early access is it's a much longer development cycle, and there's also a lot of players who don't want to touch the game until they feel like it's in a nice finished state. So there's a bunch of people who are going to absolutely wait for full release. I think the advantages are you end up with a much more quality product, and you get a lot more collective feedback, even more than just user testing and play testing. So I suppose it depends on how big your studio is and how much your runway is, but we had a really good experience with early access here, and I think for titles that are going to have strategic depth or just have a lot of content, we would absolutely do that again.
Yeah. And it feels like early access is very much here to stay at this point. It's one of those, like, I remember when early access was new and everyone was screaming like, "This is gonna ruin everything!" Right? Like,
well, I think we also saw some examples of companies that didn't do launches well because they didn't do early access. Like, we saw Cyberpunk 2077. It like had a really rough launch reception because they had a lot of bugs and performance issues. I think on the PlayStation 4, like, it barely ran at all.
Yeah.
And so that was unfortunate because those are the kinds of things that if they had done an early access route, they could have hardened those and ended up with a product that people are feeling more ready for, but it ended up feeling rough. And people, I think that wouldn't have been as big a deal if there wasn't a mismatch of expectations. What people thought they were going to get was up here. What they actually got was here. Whereas early access sets a lower bar for expectations, so people are more forgiving and more willing to help you kind of evolve it.
And
so I think they would have benefited from that.
Yeah, and on the other side of the coin, you have like something like Baldur's Gate 3, which stayed in early access for 3 years, and I mean that like, as someone who played it when it first launched in early access, like within a week, and then played it now, like it's a completely different game. I would say almost like it's changed so much over those years. So I mean, I suppose early access, when done right, can really be beneficial. But it's one of those, like, you got to know what you're getting into.
And I think Larian really stuck the landing by using all that early access feedback in the community to shape the game and see like what's feeling good about these classes and our network code and the worlds that we're in and the dilemmas we're having people faced with. Getting all that feedback in advance meant that when they finally said we're ready, it feels so polished and like this is a strong contender for game of the year, I'd say. And I think the fact that they approached that knowing as part of their plan they're going to do early access helped them to end up with a really strong product.
Yeah, yeah. I think you might be on something there. So another game that just is probably gonna be up for Game of the Year, Starfield. I mean, Ray, you said you have told me that you have checked out some streams.
It's already preloaded. It is
Yeah,
already
and you looked
preloaded.
at some gameplay as well.
Yeah, I watched. There's people streaming it on Twitch. I was watching some of the streams, and like I said, it looks amazing. I can't wait to give it a try and play it.
Yeah. So anyone else anyone else been watching something, or are you saving yourselves for the full release?
I'm saving myself for the full release, but I have a soft spot for science fiction role playing games. I think that there's more there in fantasy, and I love role playing games, but science fiction, like as a world, entices me even more. So I wish there were a few more science fiction RPGs, both space exploration, but also dystopian. And so I'm really pumped.
Yeah, Rudy. So, about you? Are you gonna check out Starfield, or are you too busy with Armored
I
Core for the next couple of months?
I am enjoying another dystopian future robotic world.
Yes.
The worlds of Rubicon.
Yeah, it's gonna keep you busy for quite a while. It sounds like.
Yeah, there's multiple different endings. I've got to get through it all. Then there's a PvP aspect. I won't rest until I am the greatest mech gunner that ever lived. And I will take down any corporate dog that challenges me in the arena.
I love
Yeah,
it.
you're deep in that world. Steven, how about you? Are you gonna check out Starfield, or are you waiting for?
Fortunately, I have a new Xbox to play it, so
Well,
uh,
that's where cloud comes in. To be honest, just
or
like in my opinion, if like just like you, I don't have an Xbox either, but I could
but
stream it.
or if I know if I had one, I probably would check it out. You know, because that's one would interest me to just check out, see how it is.
Yeah, I mean it looks like looking at the ratings. It's currently sitting at an 87 Metacritic score. And with some giving it 100. Like Xbox Addict giving it 100. That doesn't surprise me maybe as much. But like it's still getting some great reviews. Even PC Gamer, who are known for being quite restrictive, I would say, in their scores. I mean, even like they were like Baldur's Gate is our highest rated game in 15 years or something like that. It was like 95. They gave it a 75. 75 is great for PC Gamer. So yeah, looks like the reviews are looking good, and I think is it tomorrow that it yeah it should be tomorrow or that it becomes playable for
So
the
8 o'clock for us over here. If you got the special edition,
yeah.
so I know guys are like, there's already like Discord, people in the Discord having parties and stuff. Everybody's getting revved and ready. I can wait though. I got it preloaded. I can go PC and I can go on my console and I can go on the cloud. I do look wherever there's gaming. I'm gonna go find it. I'm gonna go play it. But I'm
Yeah,
excited.
I'm hoping for cloud. Like I'm hoping it drops on GeForce Now during the week. Otherwise, I will spin it up on Shadow.
Just wait for these screenshots. Please wait 2 hours to get into Starfield on Xbox Cloud.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna touch no Xbox Cloud. I'm gonna use GeForce Now or Shadow, because otherwise never gonna touch
Did
it. Be
I
able to
miss
touch
the
it.
menu? How is Starfield coming out on GFN? I don't think so.
I mean, it's coming
no,
out. Like it's not
no.
announced, but it is like they have a partnership. So if
So
it would,
your fingers crossed?
yeah, I'm fingers crossed. But if nothing else, I'll just sacrifice some of my precious shadow storage for Starfield. With the benefit of the benefit that I could run it with mods. So, but yeah, it's a bit more. It's not quite as easy to get it to just boot up and to be straight in the game, but I think I can
And
do
then,
it.
I'm not
and I'm
gonna lie. I'm probably like Warhawk over here. I'm gonna take a look over, get it, see how it boots up on XCloud. Probably not on day one because it may be crazy there, but I'll be
Oh yeah,
curious. I'll check it out. I'll see how it plays. See if it's something that hooks me.
and I'm gonna. The best experience is your experience. I don't really get all hyped up with the reviews or what everybody else said. It's how I feel about the game and what I experience with it. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm gonna see how it is for me.
yeah, and that's probably like that's the way you should go into all of these games. Like if it like I think Ray, both you and I liked Gollum, for example. That was a critically yeah, again that was like flopped critically, but like it wasn't a great game. It
I
wasn't a bad game. It was fun.
I enjoyed the jumping
Yeah,
around and hiding. It was a stealth game, people. It was stealth.
yeah,
But I can also understand about the illustration of the game and some of the voicing. But like I said, as long as can I play it, can I have fun,
yeah,
and you gotta be respectful that put their heart, sweat, tears, and soul in these games, and they're just doing it for your enjoyment. So I try and, I see the good and the bad, but try and enjoy it. If it's not you,
yeah,
then hey, just take it back.
yeah. And I
I,
mean, okay, good says.
that seems like a really healthy attitude. I think we can end up taking ourselves way too seriously about our entertainment. And I think just remembering it's about playing and having fun, just the way little kids do. Like when we're willing to embrace that childlike mentality of how can I have fun with this thing, and did somebody make something cool, like we end up having a lot better time.
Yeah, I agree. Um, Speaking of great times, I don't know. Yeah, that was a bad segue. Nintendo's releasing a new Switch. It's the same Switch as always. It's just this time it's Mario Red. And
There's coins on the back.
oh, there
There's
is.
coin art on the back of it.
Why don't they show that in the press picture? Come
You
on.
know, it's funny.
That's the secret.
I spilled ketchup all over my Switch setup, and it looks very similar.
Yeah, I need to
Red
get
is
new
my
Joy-Cons. Our Joy-Cons are
favorite
broken.
color. Can I trade it in? Can I do trade-ins? They do trade-ins.
Yeah, I think they do. It will set you back a bit though. Yeah. FYI, if you're in the market for a new Switch, there's gonna be a red one in October. So if you can wait and want one, then hold
But
on to that
aren't
one
we
a
on
little
the
bit.
heels of the announcement of Switch 2?
We
Come
have
on,
to
I
be. It
mean,
has to be around the
we
corner, right?
have to be. It
Right?
it has to be like, I don't know. If it doesn't come out next year, I don't believe in the laws of business anymore. Nintendo has broken everything possible.
Yeah, it feels
They
like
definitely
that.
don't seem to play by quite the same rules. They've got a very
No, they
different
don't.
paradigm.
Nintendo's got a Nintendo, that's for sure. But
And people
Yes, yeah.
love them, and people still love it. People love them.
yeah,
They did a Nintendo
Um,
Direct with a lot of focus on Super Mario. I'm forgetting the name. Wonder, I think.
Wonder.
And it looks
Yeah,
like
we
they've
were
got a
watching that
lot
this
of really
morning.
fun stuff coming out in that. That's really innovative,
Yeah.
actually. They've got some. I think badges is one of the craziest ideas I've seen from them in a Mario game, maybe ever.
yeah. And I mean, like while I'm very much not a fan of Mario, my son loves Mario, so I'm gonna have to get both new Joy-Cons because ours are broken, and the new Mario game. That's gonna set me back a lot of money. Not looking forward to that, but that's gonna have to happen during the fall, I think.
Got to teach them how to save up those dollars, just like
Yeah,
Curious
I probably
George.
do. Yeah.
Been reading
10
that with my
years?
two-year-old. Is reading Curious George Saves His Pennies about how you save up for big things.
Oh my God, where was that book? I need that because my kid and his Fortnite V-Bucks. Good Lord.
Yeah. There's a new report by Data.ai that says mobile game spending is projected to be hitting $108 billion in 2023. With cloud gaming across all platforms, it's expected to bring in $3.8 billion. That's not that bad for a brand new market, I would say. So yeah, some of us jumped on the cloud train very early, and way back when that number was below 1 billion. And we keep helping them bring that up. yeah, cloud and mobile is really expanding, and I think it's predicted to. It's up. Console market is up 3%. PC games up 4% year over year. Um, and handheld revenue is forecasted to fall by 20%, but mobile and cloud is rising. So yeah, it's a big industry out there. There's a lot of money to be made in games if you know what you're doing. Apparently, it's crazy amount of money for mobile. I would say crazy amount. I'm hoping not that most of it isn't from draconic pay to win games, but I'm guessing a lot of it probably is. And I read about this tool today, NPCX. Anyone heard of that before? It's a like game creation tool. Or rather, it's that's on the go. It's supposed to be like character motion capture processing tool. It sound like I didn't really fully understand it, but it sounded quite interesting. Although it's very early on, and they're currently looking for investors. But yeah, some might be some improvements in making 3D use of 3D motion capture.
I seen a video clip of talking to an NPC, kind of like AI type thing, or trying to get clues and help in a game. Which is, hey, let me tell you, I'm all for innovation in tech, and if that's something cool and different in a game, I'm all for it. So yeah.
I think that'll
Uh,
make it a lot easier to get real lifelike motions in there. So if you have to go with conventional animators, it's a lot of work. You got to move and pose every single arm, every single leg, for every single part of every move. So a lot of those cutscenes or even just the normal walk cycles are very expensive to make. With motion capture, you just strap on your suit, record it, and next thing you know, your character is able to move the way you
yeah,
did.
and I mean,
So
there's a lot
it's going
of
to make
cool
the
tech.
tools a lot easier to
Yeah,
make
there's
lifelike
a lot of
motion.
really cool tech already that's like in early stages of development in most cases. Some of them is probably quite far along though, where you basically like can use just any video footage and just map out like using like AI algorithms. This is the person you're tracking, and then you just track them with just a webcam. Like I think Star Citizen even has built into the game where you can turn on your webcam, and if you when you speak to other players, they will see your face move according to how you to like lip sync you live with your actual voice as well as the voiceover and voice over IP. But also like things like if you look around on your like with your head, that will also automatically move the camera a little bit as well, like eye tracking with just normal webcam. So like that stuff, I can imagine that stuff being making like yes, that stuff will never be as good as putting on the proper suits, but like if it can make it cheap and accessible for anyone to make motion capture 3D animations, that's a win for everyone in the end. Um, so hopefully we'll make it easier for small teams like your Silas to make some really interesting, cool stuff with the 3D motion capture without breaking bank too much.
Yeah, the more powerful tools we have, the more we're only limited by our creativity and not by our budget.
Yeah. Speaking of small budgets and cool tech, the Lenovo Legion Go, we have like keeps leaking. I think the latest leak, not including this leak, is that it's planned for a announcement in just a few days. But this is basically Lenovo's take on the ROG Ally, and the pricing is reportedly a little bit below the Ally with the 799 euros for this one. Obviously, very early, like it's rumors still, but it's supposed to be revealed tomorrow and go on sale in October.
Hmm.
So there's a new, like it feels like the yes, the Steam Deck opened the floodgates. The Ally proved that you can do like high performance handheld, and now everyone's jumping on board. So bringing the price down and everything, which would be cool. So is anyone interested in this one?
I still want the alley in my Christmas stocking, so I keep throwing hints to my wife. But I will take a look at it because I'm open to see what this is about. If it's a little bit less, but right now, my handheld of choice would probably be the alley rock.
Yeah, I mean, biggest difference here seems to be that like the controllers are detachable, like on the Switch. Um, but yeah, so Silas, I think you need to drop. So thank you so much for joining. Even for
Hey,
this, too bad we
you
couldn't
too.
keep you the whole show, but you have a lot of work to do, so I'm not going to keep you long for way too long. Check out Metroplex Zero, definitely.
I
Like
am.
seriously,
I
it's
am.
so
I'm gonna go
good.
check it out. I'm gonna go check it
Uh,
out.
so yeah, thank
It
you so much for
was
joining.
great to see you guys. Enjoy
Yeah,
the
All
rest
right.
of the
I'll
Take
have
episode.
you
care.
on.
Take care.
Take care,
Awesome.
man.
Awesome.
And Ray, how long can we keep you around for?
You got me like 4 minutes. I gotta help my son with his algebra.
Yeah. So then, I mean, let's just say thank you to you as well, then, because so we don't forget it.
Not a problem. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're not already aware, check out Ray's content over on Twitch and on YouTube. He streams very often. When's your next stream?
Saturday nights, I just a group of my friends. We actually play Wreckfest. It's like adult bumper cars. I do that on Ray 3473 Twitch TV, and then I do Marble Snap on Tuesday. Love, love, love Marble Snap, and then I'm also a GFN ambassador. I try and do some GFN streamings on Monday on my YouTube channel, The Gaming Sideboard, Ray 3473. But this has been great, man. Awesome show, and it's
Yeah.
good to meet the Warhawk, and always a pleasure to hang out with Rue and you, Bjorn. So thank
Yeah.
you guys.
Awesome to have you on. Thank you so much, man.
All right.
Take care,
Now
Ray.
now you're free to drop whenever you go. I didn't want to let you go without doing
No,
that.
I appreciate that. Thank you. In the chat, thank you.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, Chad, as well.
Miss Phoenix success. All right.
And stay around the chat, guys, because we still have an hour to go and a lot more fun stuff to talk about. Ray had to drop. Well, I think Kirk should be joining us soon. I'm hoping so. We'll see when we are when he enters as well. Yeah. But Rudik and Steven, do you have any handhelds, or and are you in the market for any handhelds?
All right, now for me, I have a handouts of the Switch on it right now.
Yeah. So, but are you interested in getting something like the Lenovo or like the Asus ROG or Steam Deck even?
Or I have thought about investing in Steam Deck, because the computer. I really don't think I can do much what I want to play on my computer. And I think the Steam Deck would be more appropriate for me. Try out games through from Steam.
Yeah. I mean the Lenovo seems to be like, I mean, it's obviously like twice the price of a Steam Deck, but then again it's like if you're in for the like Windows and PC experience, then it's quite seems to be quite into the device. What about you, Rudix?
Yeah, my perspective on mobile gaming is a little bit different. When I like to game, it's typically when I'm sitting at home at my desk. When I'm out in the world, I got to keep my head up and dodge all the arrows coming at me. So typically, I'm not gaming out in the world. I don't often find myself in the mobile gaming aspect, but I got to pump my boy PlayStation. I'm thinking this Portal is really the future. In 5 years from now, I don't think we'll have handhelds with hardware backing them up, because I think the future is just tapping into your Wi-Fi. Like, the Portal is using your PlayStation as your own personal server. I mean, I love it. I can instantly, it's the same idea as Stadia. I can instantly just continue and pick up where my gameplay has left off. So I think that's really where we're going with handhelds as a technology, by removing all of that extraness. And I think we just need to make it smaller, you know? But yeah, all the power to it. There's so many choices for handhelds. The ROG Ally obviously seems to be a powerhouse that's impressing people, and it's got the specs to do so behind it. But the future, I think, is cloudware, because I don't think we're going to want all that stuff in a handheld, and it's just more to charge. But what up, Kirk?
What's going
Yeah.
on,
What up,
guys?
Kirk?
The hour two reliever.
Exactly. Welcome to the show, man. How you
What's
doing?
going on? Pretty good.
Nice. So with the pricing of let's assume that €7.99 would be $7.99. Would you be interested in a PC handheld like the Ally or the Lenovo?
Me
That's
or Roof?
expensive.
No, you, Kirk.
Well, I would be more interested in it than like a PC rig, because I'm just not really a sit down at a desk and play PC games guy. I don't know that I'm like necessarily opposed to it. I think it's just like something that I haven't really done at any point in my lifetime, other than like when I was like a small child. But that's not like the same thing. I mean, I was playing like Clue Finders and Logical Journey of the Zumbinis and stuff. But yeah,
Those were
like
the days, man.
yeah, right, dude. Like when games were like good, and no. But like yeah, you didn't have to build a super PC with a 3090 to play that stuff. Oregon Trail is another great one. But yeah,
I
like
mean, to be fair,
What up to
you need.
Oregon Trail?
yeah, dude.
What?
Shout out
To be
Oregon
fair,
Trail.
though,
Oh my
to be fair though,
goodness!
you
Your
you did
family has
need
died from
the
wisteria.
like. If you to be fair though, like the 4090 of those days were like is still pretty much what you needed to run those games. Like
My
Warhawk.
my
I know
first
you
bad
played some
experience.
Oregon Trail. Huh? You know what the Oregon Trail is, don't you? The old Mac game?
I don't know if he's with us. My
Oh, is
first
he frozen
bad
there? But
PC experience was I was super excited when the original Star Wars of the Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic, came out to play that, and it like could not run on my PC. Like I tried everything to get that game to run, absolutely could not run. And that's when that was my first experience like realizing like, oh, sometimes like, and I was a small child. I was like, sometimes like games on PC just don't work. Like you can buy a $60 game and it may just not work if your hardware isn't good enough. And at that point, I don't really think I ever went back. Like I just played the games that I had on PC, and I was like, this is what my PlayStation 2 is for. Like in terms of like playing anything new, I don't do PC anymore because now realize like there's a fundamental flaw with this in terms of like, if you are semi-poor or at least not comfortable. I mean, I was semi-poor and cannot continuously update your hardware with monetary investment. You're not going to be able to play what you want to play. Whereas, you can go get a
shout
console.
out to that life. I lived that experience.
yeah, I think we all did, or still do to some extent. I my gaming PC is honestly, like, it's, to be honest, it's a hand me down one. It's like my brother, like, I had a PC that was old, it broke due to like lightning surge, and it got fried. And my brother was like, "Yeah, here you can have this demo unit that I that I saved from being thrown out at work when he worked at Asus." And it's like it's a 2013 mid-range PC. That's my gaming rig. And then I have my work laptop, and like, but with cloud I can at least keep going. But yeah, like, as you say, like, there are games you can't play. I never let that stop me though. I played through I ran games. Like, I had a PC that couldn't run Crisis at any, like, it could run it at like 20 FPS, which is not an, like, if you have you played a shooter at 20 FPS at some point? It's not a
Sure,
nice
yeah.
experience.
Yeah. I mean, just
but
PS3 basically.
Yeah, I was like,
Like
yeah,
Far Cry 3 on the PlayStation 3.
yeah, like, bring I brought the graphics down to the minimum settings, played through the whole game. I think 100% of the game with that bad frame rate, because it would like, I was like, I'm not gonna let the fact that I have a crappy PC stop me from playing.
Dude,
these
I
games.
played Assassin's Creed Brotherhood at like 10 FPS.
Yeah, then I mean,
Like
yeah,
the entire game, because I was
been there.
absolutely glued to the story. So like I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
It was Brotherhood, and then 3 was worse. 3 was definitely 10 FPS. Like when I tell you, like, the combat was like like I felt like I was in the Matrix, like I was Neo.
Yeah.
Like, it was like,
And I mean,
eventually block your sword
after a while, yeah,
and
I've been there too. Yeah.
stab you.
Unity was also one of those for me. But it's like when you've been through that, it's like you get to a certain point where you realize, like, this, like, I'll have to keep playing the games that I have and not buying any new ones at this point, because it's not going to work until I'm able to upgrade or find
Console
some
gaming, baby.
Yeah, that's when I jumped into console, but then quickly realized I missed mouse and keyboard. I grew up playing mouse and keyboard. That's what I love. So for me, going now back to cloud, giving me the option to not having to upgrade all the time, have mouse and keyboard, but also have the console experience on my TV, or at least close enough. That's like the best of all worlds for me.
The ultra realistic experience of clicking a mouse to shoot a gun rather than actually pulling an actual trigger.
Yeah, I mean, if you play shooters, yeah, sure, but like then you gotta keep in mind my favorite genres are like city builders or like strategy games, and for that, like controllers.
City Skylines guy, yeah.
Oh yeah, love that. I'm so excited for City Skylines too.
Nothing beats you
Gonna
can't
be
get a better
great.
racing sim experience than on PC with a wheel and pedals. So.
Yeah, I racing sims as well, but I think racing sims you want to play with a wheel if you can, and then if you can't with a controller. So then you want to have the console experience if you can't have the wheel one.
Yeah, but with the
Speaking of
wheel
expensive
support
stuff,
for consoles is like kind of bad. So definitely,
Yeah.
definitely PC is pretty good for racing.
yeah, I remember when I first picked up my VR headset, I remember booting up Drive Club VR on the PSVR and then playing that with the controller.
Dude, that game's good. I love
Yeah.
Drive Club. Drive Club is one of my favorite racing games ever made.
It is and I used it
30
to
FPS.
Yeah, it is. Even in VR, I think it's pretty bad. But at the same time, like being in the cockpit, like in the front seat of the car was kind of an because I did that while starting out driver's lessons, and I was like, this is pretty. I get like I did for quite like a week at the first week I did play the drive club. I just like drove around and like tried to park the car or something like that and like practice driving. It was pretty dope. But let's move on to some more news. For the Xbox people out there, we've talked before about how the Xbox Series S couldn't perform split screen co-op with Baldur's Gate 3. Since we talked about that last time, Microsoft have actually given Larian a free pass to not have feature parity. So Xbox will be getting Baldur's Gate 3 this year, but on the Series S, it will be without split screen co-op. Do you think they're right to backtrack on the promise to have feature parity between the two versions, or is it better to say screw it, let's get the games instead?
Absolutely. Especially with this being a co-op feature, I think this is more, on on the realm of like ancillary type of features. I mean, if it was just like a core feature of the game, then which I mean, I guess some people might argue that that's what this is, but I do think that at its core, this game was designed to be a single player, deep RPG experience. You're getting that same experience to a certain level of parity on the Series S.
Yeah, and you
I
still have
think that the
online
co-op-
co-op on the Series S. It's just local
Really,
split
yeah.
screen.
So it's just the couch. Yeah, and I mean they couldn't even get that working for Halo Infinite for like a year or so, or maybe they didn't ever. I don't even know. So yeah, I mean, and it runs terrible for like stuff like Borderlands and stuff. So, I mean, yeah, I just it's been axed from so many games. Like I almost feel like it's just a unfortunate timing thing of like if it had not been a feature at launch, which just because Larian's on top of their game, it is. Most of the games that have had that feature that have come out have not had it at launch. They put it in later.
Yeah, and then you're fine with it. Maybe
yeah, if they had launched it and it hadn't been a feature, and then they said, "Oh, we're doing a patch for couch co-op, local co-op. It's going to be live on PS5 and Xbox Series X specifically." I don't know that it would have been that big of an issue, but because it's coming at launch,
Yeah,
it's like, oh, it's not feature parity or whatever. So I think it's just like an unfortunate like perception thing, and I think they did the right thing of just ripping the Band-Aid off and saying like, hey, we're gonna do this. Like, it doesn't feel great given the promises that we've made in the past. Technically, this is like us not sticking to that to the letter, but
yeah,
still
and I mean it's like
there. I don't think it voids the entire intent
yeah,
of that.
and it wouldn't surprise me if they
message.
at some point make it work. I mean, it's when it comes down to it, I think it was like a RAM issue. It's like you have the game is like because what you do in co-op in this game is like you can be on two as long as you're on the same map, and the maps are massive. It's like I think the whole game is like maybe 10 maps in total for like on the entire 200 hours played the game most likely. within a single map, you can be on the opposite side of the map and do completely different thing. One of you can be in combat, one can be in like blowing things up, and you will like having to render both of those and keeping track of everything. I get it. Like I get that being very much hard to pull off in on when you don't have as much RAM. And it wouldn't surprise me if they at some point get it back to get it on a later date. So I think it's also like I think it's the right decision for the Xbox to back pedal. But Rudix and Warrock, what do you think? Should they have backpedaled, or should have stuck to their guns and not add the game?
I think that they're going to face a fury of storms. I mean, what did they promise all of the consumers who bought Xbox S and Xbox X? I think it's grounds for joint, what do they call that? Joint lawsuit when everyone gets together. Like, they literally broke a contract with the people saying there would
Absolutely
be
not.
no
I'm
difference.
sorry, Rudix. That's
There
not
would be no difference.
true. Practically, legally, no. There's
But they've
no
already
grounds.
started.
There's no standing for any type of class action suit here. And also,
they started
the
off by
rebuttal to that
saying
is
that there'd be
we're
60
giving you the game.
FPS.
Like, we're giving you the game. The alternative is for us to not bring this game to your hardware. We want the
And
game
it also
as
seems
as
like they're
possible.
quitting. They couldn't find a technical solution to work around it, so they're just dropping it. I mean, it seems like a little bit, we couldn't get it done. So
Yeah, the game
we're giving you
is
without
out.
it.
They couldn't get it done. That's an accurate statement.
You
To be
already
fair, though,
missed
to
the
be
mark.
fair, to be fair though, I think like Larian has like the reason why the PC why it's out on PC already and not coming to PlayStation until next week is because Larian was like, hey, this version is done. Let's just put it out there, and then we'll add more like down the line. Like it's done when it's done, and when it's done, it's like that's when we drop it. So I feel it's Larian
Any
being
amount of controversy that gets stirred up from this is just complete drama mill. It's a non-issue. It's totally, the Twitter space. Nothing tangible is going to come of this. I bet the data would show that this feature on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X is used by like 5. I mean, it would top out at 10% of people that play this game. It's not going to be a big deal. It really isn't, and it may look that way in terms of news and like especially like Twitter, internet drama type stuff, Reddit forums maybe, but nobody's going to care about this in T-minus less than a month. It's not going to impact Xbox in any way. There's certainly not going to be a lawsuit. If there is, it's going to get dismissed by the court because they won't have standing, and they won't have a cause on which relief can be granted. And yeah, I mean, this is just like, fishing for drama type stuff. They made the right call. I think that they would have incurred a lot more criticism if they had not made this call, because then the people that bought a Series X don't get to play Baldur's Gate if that's the only hardware that they own. So it absolutely was the right decision, and I'm very happy for everybody out there that doesn't have a PlayStation or a PC that only has an Xbox that's going to be able to play this game, which everybody says is so amazing. It was 100% the right thing.
Sure, just don't believe Xbox's next series of consoles when they come out with the dual consoles. And they'll say all games will play the same on both consoles.
Don't worry,
They
there
won't.
would be another
They
Xbox
won't.
console.
Yeah, I don't
know.
think
It's just a long list of lies. Remember when they came out and said all the games on Xbox will be 60 FPS? That was back in 2020. And what was Redfall? What was Gotham Knights? Like, it's just...
PlayStation
I don't think
said
we
they
should
don't
really take
believe
at
in
their
cross-generational
promises.
games, and they proceeded to put every first-party release on PlayStation 4 for like 2 years after that. So yeah, these companies say whatever they want. It's all marketing speak. It's meaningless. They will flip on a dime if it's advantageous for them. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, and every now and then they do that in a way that's they end up getting a lawsuit against them. Sometimes it's thrown out. Sometimes they have to pay a little bit, but it's like, oh no, we have to pay like 1 day of profits. Oops. Like it's very rare that a
difficult
lawsuit
to like
is.
prevail in those type of actions too, because
It's like
you
the
have
cost
to
of doing
show that
business
you
for them.
actually were like, practically or tangibly harmed, and I mean that's a big reach to have standing. You basically would have had to have bought the console and bought the game in reliance on having this feature. The feature is not present, and then somehow that's like harming you, like actual tangible harm. I mean, or financial harm.
Yeah,
It'd
well,
be
it's like
very difficult because like you
the
still have the game in
I don't know.
hand. You can still
Americans
play
sue
it.
for anything. That's
That doesn't
the
mean that
myth up
courts.
here in
I mean,
Canada.
you
I
have
mean,
to
they'll sue
have
for
like.
stubbing their toe. This seems like a more than a stub toe.
it's also like one of those, like, I feel like if you look at how um like when like the Nintendo Joy-Con drift, they are like wasn't there like a class action lawsuit against that
Big
actually,
time.
Right,
yeah,
Yeah.
but that makes sense. That is
but
not
that's what I'm saying,
comparable
like,
to this.
but what I'm saying, like, for Nintendo,
Series
that was
S
like,
drift.
the Nintendo still haven't done anything. Like, they paid out the money, but they still haven't bothered to fix the issue with the fucking issues. They're
Sure.
like, it's like cost of doing business, whatever. Like, it's
This is a very, very, very minor issue, and it's again, it's a feature that the data will bear out. Like, an infinitesimal amount of people are actually going to use. Like, the data showed that for Xbox backwards compatibility, like 5 to 10% of people use Xbox backwards compatibility, or did, 7 or 8 years ago, whenever that data was taken. But they were still like, you know what? It's important enough to us to do this, from a great game preservation point for those 10% of people. I mean, that's not a small number, so they went ahead and did it anyway. They made Xbox the best place to play backwards compatible games on like the original Xbox and stuff. But that's how many people were using backwards compatibility, which is like a huge feature. So there's no way, thank you, David. There's no way that the data would show. I mean, I'm thinking this would be like under 3% of people that buy this game are going to use this feature on the platforms that it's available. It's not like you can do this on PC. You can't have local co-op on PC unless you hook two PCs together, which is cheating because
I think you could, like,
you could do that with
you
console.
can play like if one of you play with a controller, or if
Oh,
I think
okay.
both of you play
Well,
with a
then I'm
controller.
wrong. But
But still, like, it's one of
the
I
percentages
agree.
of
Like,
people that are going to use this is going to be like so small.
yeah, and
out
like,
of
or
everybody
even
that
for
plays
like,
the game.
I would love to play like local co-op of Baldur's Gate 3 with my wife, but I also realize like it's not gonna happen because she's way too busy with everything that she's doing.
The
So like,
ironic thing is that the Series
so
S,
I'll
the
play it
Series
online.
S actually presents a more convenient way to play co-op with a game like this, because you have the Series S in the other room on your own
Yeah,
television,
yeah,
and then you play co-op. Like I used to do that
yeah,
with my
online co-op
significant
with
other. That's what the Series S is for. It's like a Roku. Like it's like the Roku Xbox. It's not. I mean, I don't know. They did a bad job at marketing this. I will, validate what you're saying, Rudigs, in terms of they sold it a particular way. That may not have been 100% accurate in terms of how they build it. They're like, oh, it's the mini one. It does the exact same stuff. It absolutely does not. It is their budget console. It is, if you want to be able to play the games, that's it. You want to be able to play all the games. You don't want to be stuck in the last gen with your Xbox One X or whatever it is that you have, your original Xbox One, God forbid. You can't play the new Halo or the new Forza or Starfield or whatever. Buy this little box. We won't make you get the souped up hardware. We'll let you save $200. Here it is. This will play it. And that's a good thing that they offered that. But did they market it up a lot and say, "Oh, it plays the exact same"? Or yes, they did. Should they not have done that?
yeah.
I do think that they should have not done that. They should have been more honest and accurate. But that's just how marketing works,
Yeah, and
unfortunately.
I think if they have if this had been a new player going into the market doing it, it would have been disastrous for them. Kind of like how Google went in and said, "Oh, we have this much teraflop of power," and then I mean, people started then comparing like how does this game run on the PS4, the PS5, and on Stadia. And usually, a lot of time it was like, "Hey, it's not that much better than the PS4, guys." Even though you said it was going to be more power. Whereas if they just not talked about the teraflops, people would have taken it a lot differently. So it's all about how you frame it. But let's
Maker, I don't know. I got a review code for Immortals, and it's pretty in 4K. I'm on PS5, so I don't know what you're talking about with 720p, man.
yeah. How are you liking
That
the game, by
game's
the way?
gorgeous.
Is it good? You liking it?
Yeah, it's very good. I would say it's kind of like if anybody played Destiny and they bounced off of the MMO stuff, but they liked the wandering around and doing, fighting enemies with different abilities and different guns and stuff, and collecting gear that has certain stats on it and stuff. But you're like, oh, I really wish this was just like a single player game. That's what this is, and it's really good. It might be the best first person shooter of the year. I guess its main competition is gonna come out in a couple of days here, or today if you have early access, and probably the Avatar game, I guess, in December for first-person shooters. This has been a light first-person shooter year, really.
Yeah, it's been a massive year for every other genre except first-person shooters.
I'm okay with that. I think.
Yeah, me too.
Let's get some more death loops. Some more creative ideas. I'm okay with the think tanks stewing a little bit. So, people in some writers' rooms, some boardrooms thinking about it. But yeah, Immortals actually ended up being very refreshing. I thought it was going to be like a cash grab type deal, just like very generic looking and stuff. Playing it, story's cool, voice acting's good, visually, very varied and interesting. There's a lot of effort went into this. Like, it looked like a Forspoken type of deal, and it's not that. Like, you can see that they put effort into it. You can see that they cared about the end product. They wanted to make a good game. They wanted to make a good experience, a good narrative. They wanted it to feel good in terms of the gunplay or the gauntlet play, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's a gun. Let's just not
Well, I don't know. It doesn't quite feel like a gun. No, they did do a good job of making it feel a little bit different. It's like a weird, like, I don't know, like a weird weapon in Doom or something. Like, it just feels a little bit odd. Like, it's like, oh, this isn't really like a gun, but it's like a projectile thing. Yeah, I mean, it feels good. Especially like the shotgun one. It just very much feels like a blast of energy that you're kind of
because I assumed you played like a first-person shooter with, I felt like guns, but with a different skin on it. But yeah, that's good, interesting here. Rudy, I'm guessing you're not gonna check it out because you're busy with Armored Core, right?
Yeah, and I've kind of written off. I mean, I have so many choices when it comes to gaming. I'm just not that interested in first-person shooters anymore. I think it's just not an experience for me, and I would just rather have that third-person mode. I find myself way more immersed when it comes to that, and I enjoy myself more in that world.
Yeah. How about you, Steven? What do you think? Is Immortals anything you want to check out?
I don't know the game I would be checking out anytime soon, but I might give it a try sometime if I get a chance to see if it's something I like or not. I was trying to give a chance if it was something that interested me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have played it if I didn't get a code, but I was very surprised. Again, I thought it was just gonna be one of those games, man. Like Forspoken, Atlas Fallen kind of felt like that. Like, I don't know, there were like Hood Outlaws and Legends. You know what I'm talking about? Like, they look kind of cheap. They have like the same color palette almost. Like, they're like, go get the MacGuffin to save Albion, or like what, like, it's just like, I don't know. And then there's like a ton of marketing. You're like, this game's gonna suck. And no, it's like pretty good. Like, honestly, IGN gave it an 8 out of 10. Like, it's pretty solid.
That's a good rating. Like, I think I'm in the road of since I have EA Play through Game Pass, I might pick it up when it drops on EA Play and give it a spin if I remember to.
Yeah, and I thought it was like a 14 to 16 hour deal. This is like 30 to 40.
Oh wow!
Like, there's like secret bosses and stuff. Yeah, it's very much going into the they want to do the fantasy thing. Like, it's still like a first person shooter in terms of how it feels like go through the game. There's a little. It's kind of like Jedi Survivor. Like, there's a little bit of Metroidvania-esqueness to it, but you're still kind of just like going through the level, like keep moving forward type deal. But they really did want to do like the fantasy thing of like, oh, here's a side activity, here's a secret boss in this layer, like here's a place where you can go get top tier loot like in Diablo or something. Like, they really did tap into that, so it feels like it's tapping into like good elements of multiple genres, which I think is always something that's nice to see in a game when they creatively sort of combine those elements in a way that feels like refreshing and innovative.
Yeah, it's but that's, speaking of refreshing and innovating, not That was a bad segue. I'm not on a roller with my segues today. But Luna has like obviously they have their channels like the cable packages of old, um, and Luna Plus that channel sits at around 150 games currently. But it looks like a couple of weeks back, 15 games were set to leave Luna Plus, and now another 38. Now it's 38 games. So at this rate, it
Leaving?
looks like it'll be down to 70 games by the end of November.
Ooh, is this another Stadia, guys? Is it happening
That's the
again?
weird thing. I mean, I've spoken to the head of Amazon for the entire Nordic region. I was like, when are you gonna bring Luna over, or are you killing it? She was like, when we go launch something, we don't shut it down. That's why we haven't expanded more because we need to be ready because we don't shut it down.
They need to
It
get
feels like
the
they're kind of shutting
Twitch.
it down.
They need to get the Twitch compatible. Maybe they're putting it on pause to like figure out how to link it up with Twitch stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but there's some great games in here as well. That's leaving soon.
Probably the thing was is that they were cutting like monthly checks or whatever to these games.
Yeah,
And they're probably realizing that like they want to put this on the back burner until they can drop like a big update to the service.
yeah,
type thing.
probably. But also, why is why is the first party Amazon games not on there yet? Like the new just bring New World on there.
Yeah.
Why don't you do that, Amazon? Come on.
Because they don't
I
know what they're doing in terms of
yeah
gaming. Neither did Google.
Amazon. If
Apple's
you
the
like,
only one that's been able to do it, and that's because they're just like, we're just a host. Like we're just a game store basically.
yeah,
Like,
Amazon,
you go
give
create
me a
stuff.
call if you want me to take over. I can take over. I'm happy to. Like it's not gonna get worse if I run it right. I'm not saying I'm gonna solve it. I'm just gonna not run it as badly as it's being run right now. But yeah, it feels like not very good. Utomic is adding two cloud games. Um, Bus Simulator 18, which is a weird one. It's a full on bus simulator.
Bro, you
I
said
wanted to like
news,
it.
bro. Like this isn't news. Like
Yeah,
what?
no.
What is
In the
this?
world.
What are we looking at right now?
And
Oh my
endlings.
god.
Yeah, Utomic is it's a weird one. Like if like for this style of game, like endlings or like this in the inner world, it's a great service if you want to have like a lot of those being streamed to you. But it's a weird one. Like it's yeah, I don't know. For the target audience, it's great, but I don't know who the target audience really is.
Have you guys played that new Texas Chainsaw game?
I haven't. Have you played it, right, Rudy?
It's pretty good.
I tried, but the matchmaking didn't work, and I couldn't get into a game, so
I've had people
we didn't
saying
end
that.
up.
I don't know. I waited like a week, so I don't know if everybody just jumped on immediately. I've heard a lot of people, especially in this community, and like Ray's
Yeah.
community, saying that they had some trouble with it, especially like with crossplay. I've had some trouble with game chat. Like sometimes I can't hear my teammates, and I'm not sure if that's just because they don't have mics or if it's like a thing. Like I've gotten in a group with people before and not been able to hear them, so I think that they are having issues with that. But in terms of matchmaking, like I get into games quick, and the games are quick. Like the games really only take like 10 minutes. Yeah, Rouster's correct. It can get intense, especially if you're the last person alive. It gets super intense. At first when I started playing it, I was like, this game is not good. Like they just throw you in there. There's no onboarding. You just go in there. You inevitably get killed by somebody that's been playing the game as a serial killer for like the last 2 weeks and knows exactly how to track you and hunt you down. So it's trial by fire to the utmost degree. But once I started playing it, I'm constantly like, when am I gonna be able to sit down and play that some more? And I think it's because they've done like a really good progression system where it's sort of like Dead by Daylight, but they made it better. Dead by Daylight sort of feels like you're sort of creating this bank of you know, you're accruing all of these sort of perks that you can then, you know, take you have them in this bank, and you can pick and choose which ones to put on your survivor to go into the game and play. This feels a little more specific because you have these different individuals. Like, you've got the fast track kid, you've got, you know, the like the stud hunk guy that every horror movie has, who's like, you know, wearing the Letterman jacket and is like the football linebacker or whatever, so he can like tackle Leatherface or like whatever. You got the girl that's like really good at lock picking. You've got the girl that's like super sneaky. You got the girl that you know, her sister's the one that they're looking for, so she's determined, so like you can't take her down with just like a couple of hits, like she's gonna keep fighting or like whatever. And like, so they have like these inherent sort of like characteristics and attributes on them. And then you actually have like a skill tree that is like very in depth. Like, I think it's something like 50 skill points that you can put into each of these characters' individual skill trees. And you can like roll like random perks. Like, there's certain perks that you can see that you like make your way to get, and then it like cancels out other ones on this tree. So you get like forking paths. So you have to like
Yeah.
make decisions of trade-offs of like, do I want to go this route and, you know, be stronger, or do I want to go this route and be sneakier, or I can run away, I'm faster, you know, I have more stamina, whatever. And then there's also the element of like trying to roll for like these really, really good perks. And it's just like, yeah, it like I've already like maxed out one character, and I'm like, oh, I gotta do the sneaky girl, like whatever, you know, and I'm like, I gotta get these skill points. It's like the build.
I feel like you're almost selling me on the game if it wasn't for the fact that it's way too much horror for my taste.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not gonna touch it. But yeah, so
it's fun. Yeah, it has this whole other element to it other than just the gameplay
Yeah.
loop. That's very, very engaging. They nailed that, and it's very good that they did, because the gameplay is like very one-dimensional. Like, it's like, okay, I get it. I go in, I get chased around by the scary bad guys. You know, either, you know, sneak around and pick the locks and get out and, you know, break the door open and I'm out, or like whatever, or they catch me and I get killed.
Yeah.
You know, and like,
So,
it's
like,
just that
yeah.
over and over again. So the fact that like this game would have come and went in like 2 weeks, and they nailed this progression loop, man. So like, I see people that are on there, they're like level 35. You know, I mean, they're just like grinding because you really do. You want to like see what you can do in terms of the builds that you can make. So I'm very happy for them. Friday the 13th was kind of a janky mess. Everybody loved it for like the memes, and, you know, it was just a fun, wacky time. They've like actually made a game, like, this is a AA game that's like something special. So congrats to is it Gun Interactive? It's Gun Interactive and
Yeah.
Sumo Nottingham, I think. Congrats to them. It's a fun game, and yeah, I'm gonna keep playing it. It's really great.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like it wasn't maybe that much like it feels like it there was definitely a market for a new one of those games. So it wasn't
the
that
Dead by Daylight
surprising.
people were like so rabid for it. Like, they were
Yeah.
like, oh my god, something new.
Yeah, exactly.
Of
It
course,
was like,
Behavior
it was
had
bound
to
to
release.
be a success.
Behavior
in a
had the
sense.
alien card in their back pocket, and they're like, release the alien, you know. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, you know, it's time, we have a competitor. They always seem to do that, by the way. They always have this
They know
license
what
in their
they're
back
doing.
pocket. Whenever any type of
Um,
competitor shows up, they're like, oh yeah, Michael Myers, let's go, roll out Mike Myers, roll him out. Like,
Yeah.
they've always got, like, they will not be competed with. They have taken down, you know, there was that VHS game on PC, Evil Dead didn't stand a chance, even with the license they had. I mean, Dead by Daylight does not play. They want a monopoly on that genre.
Stay around,
Yeah.
for sure. But speaking of things that is not staying around, GeForce Now is exiting Russia, or, well, ish. Here's the thing: GeForce Now has been available in Russia for some time, but it's through a franchise. And obviously, with the war going on, Nvidia isn't sending them anything anymore. So, and it's kind of hard to run a cloud gaming service if you don't, one, are able to buy new hardware, and two, aren't getting any software updates or games. And I don't think Nvidia has been providing that, because I'm pretty sure they would be sued to hell if they were, with what's it called, the limitations set on by the governments on companies in Russia. So, but yeah, now they've announced that the GFN.ru, the franchise holder for GFN in Russia, is shutting down. Which will also affect. I mean, obviously, people outside of Russia, because those servers were also serving people in Belarus, Moldova, Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, and Uzbekistan. But hopefully, someone else can step in and put a server in outside of Russia that these people can use. So in October, I think it will be, yeah, October 1st will be the last day they can use the service. So yeah, bound to happen. I feel like surprised it took this long. Um, and just a note, I think this technically happened the day before the show last week, but I don't think we mentioned it. Um, Humankind, the console edition, and Age of Empires 4 are streamable on Game Pass Ultimate these days. I think we overlooked that in all the other uh, Xbox news last week. But then
Shout out to Xbox for getting Crusader Kings and Age of Empires on console.
Yeah, and Humankind is also great. Like Humankind had a console edition technically already, and then with the Stadia release, which was a port done by the same people who does the Mac port of Civilization, and then or I think first it was someone else, and then they took over, and then Stadia shut down, and I think that port has now been moved, turned into the console edition. So Humankind is a great Civ-like game. It's a bit more, I would say, it's a bit more in depth than Civ. But there's some great games coming to GeForce Now this week. Party Animals is dropping, among others. We'll take a look at the full list.
Sea of
So-
Stars is killing it right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, it sucks. It sucks for them that Starfield is early access is happening today. I mean, they crushed it.
I mean,
They were
the
gonna have a
reviews
moment
for
in the
Sea of
sun.
Stars is up there, like it's just below Baldur's Gate 3.
They
at this point.
deserved their 5 days in the sun or whatever.
Yeah.
To be the ending darling, and they're
But Sea of
just
Stars
gonna get
is on
drowned
Game
out.
Pass, and and on GeForce Now the Game Pass release, as well as the Steam release, is available. The Russia closure, the Russia closure was it wasn't GFN in Russia, it was the franchise holder that operated in Russia and nearby areas. So like and if you had better latency from Ukraine to the Russian service that you did to the Eastern European ones, by Nvidia themselves, then you would probably use that one. But now you'll have to switch over if you have access. So yeah, it's probably not. It's probably affecting it in a sense, but probably also not. But yeah, Sea of Stars on Xbox and Steam. Untamed Tactics on Steam. Not sure what that game that is. We'll take a look if we have time.
Sea of Stars also came out day and date on PS Plus.
Yeah,
They
did
all
on
came
PS
out
Plus
I
as
did
well.
not
together.
know that. That's a
So
great gift
PS
for them.
Plus.
It was a first time ever that the games were released. A single game was released on both cloud platforms day and date.
Yeah, so it was released on Game Pass.
Well, it's not cloud on
PlayStation
PS
Plus.
is it?
It is
Yeah,
on
it
PS
is.
Plus game
Oh, okay.
streaming, and on
Yeah.
Xbox game streaming,
Okay.
and on GeForce Now through both Game Pass and Steam. It basically came out everywhere, and then if you had have PS Plus or Game Pass, you could probably play it. It's a great, that game came out of nowhere. I feel like, and it just dropped everywhere and included in most subscriptions, and it seems to be an amazing game. Definitely want to
You
check
guys should follow Jenny Wyndham. She's Kim Chica on Twitter. She's like she hosted the Wholesome Game Showcase
out. Oh right, yeah.
for Summer Games Fest, and she works for promotion for a lot of these little indie companies. And Sea of Stars was actually one that she was beating the drum
cool.
for, apparently.
drop,
So if you guys like these kind of little diamonds in the rough type stuff, you follow her. She's always
I will
trumpeting out.
steal her Twitter handle from you afterwards, because I'll forget it otherwise.
Yeah.
I'll
put it in the chat for you guys. But another one that's coming out soon that I might actually be able to cover. Fingers crossed. It's called Eternites, and it's like an anime Persona, but like also like more combat of like Tails or like Xenoblade or something. Like relationship, you're trying to like romance everybody in your party or whatever. So like, like I mean,
Yeah,
it's like two
as you
guys
do,
that are making it, but like a little bit of that Baldur's Gate, Persona type relationship stuff. But yeah, it's like two guys that are making it, so
Yeah,
it's
that's
very
cool.
small. But
I
yeah,
like
she
small
works with
teams.
those type of devs.
Yeah, that's cool. I should get her to do something for the Metroplex series because I love that game. Anyway, Trine 5, The Clockwork Conspiracy, is a new release coming out today. The Steam version is on different now. Deep Rock Galactic, the Xbox Game Pass edition, as well as the Hitman World of Assassination.
Great game.
Yeah,
Love
great
that game.
games. Both of them are, I would say, great games.
Fantastic. Now that they added the freelancer mode, that game is
Yeah,
dude, one
it's
of the best stealth
hard though.
games like that you could possibly play.
Sorry, I can't
For
get
me, I'm
behind
bad.
a white bald guy going around murdering people. I feel like we got too much of that in the world already, and
Well,
I am
true.
not
You know what
for
they should
Hitman.
do? They should do like it's like because obviously, I mean, Agent 47 is iconic, but they should have like alternate skins. Like you can design your own Agent 48 or something. That would be cool.
I mean, they
Uh,
do have a lot of costumes. Like I would
yeah,
say,
yeah, but you're still
probably
almost always a white bald
over
guy.
70
Would be
or
fun if you
80.
could have a
He's got
female
hats.
character and yeah, but like choose skin tone, choose gender. It would be cool to for them to play around with that.
Well, I think the whole reason that he's
But yeah,
bald like that
he
is
is who
he's
he is.
supposed to
Like
look mannequin-like.
yeah, yeah.
So you
There's
can
like there's a whole lore.
basically like the
There's a whole
disguises
lore
look
behind it. I
very
know. It's just
yeah, the
it is what it
disguises
is.
look very but it is odd how like a lot of people in the game are bald so that he can like look like them. I never
Yeah.
understood that, but yeah.
It's an iconic thing. Some other games coming out on GFN this week is King's Bounty: The Legend on Epic Games Store, Little Big Workshop on Epic Games Store, Narca Blade Point on Xbox, Portal Prelude with RTX on Steam, and Railway Empire 2 on Epic Games, Shadowrun Returns on Xbox, Snake Pass on Epic Games, and then Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town, which is quite the handful of a name on Epic Games. And then a sneak peek of what's in September. You'll see there's a lot of games in there. Some highlights for I would say is maybe the Crew Motorfest from Ubisoft. Party Animals looks incredible. Payday 3, Cyberpunk, the DLC, big DLC.
Yeah, they're getting some serious day and date stuff here.
Oh yeah, GFN is really ramping up, and they have been for some time now. I feel like Devil May Cry 5 Steam is finally dropping on cloud. Saints Row was thought already was on there, but maybe not. Shadow Gambit, yeah. So there's a bunch of games coming out
Well,
during
that's the new Saints Row.
yeah
They might have had 4.
yeah, but I think they had that one as well. We might no right, it was only the Epic version. But yeah, so that's
Ad
a sneak peek of
Infinitum
what.
is day and date. That's
Oh
like
right, yeah,
a
that's day and date.
horror. That's like a first-person survival horror game. I
Yeah,
think.
Warhaven's also for the day and date, and like these are games that are confirmed, and they have said that like there's always like we know from previous months as well. Like they always put that like in the beginning of the month they put out this list of like this is what you can expect during the month, but then there's always more games being added as well. And I have a feeling that Starfield might be one of them. At least I hope so. But I'm guessing that would be next week on Wednesday that they add Starfield days, if they do. And yeah, and then they go on to just recap what came last month. But we've covered that in the other shows, so we don't need to get more into
they've
that.
got Texas Chainsaw. Nice.
Yeah, they got the Texas Chainsaw as well. Yeah, so you can play that on any device you own with GeForce Now. Yeah, just take a look at some of the games. Unnamed Tactics looks. Let's see here. Looks a turn-based. Yeah, this looks like my jam. Tactical RPG. I play a lot of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance on my Game Advance back in the day. This
reminds
could
me of
be
a
interesting.
game. Did you guys ever play Armello? It has like a similar art style to Armello. Honestly, I
No, I
wouldn't be
didn't.
surprised if this was the same developers.
Yeah,
It
it's
probably
Grumpy
isn't.
Owl Games.
But Armello is like a
No, this is the
hex-based
first.
or whatever. It's like a board game type deal.
Yeah,
So it looks kind of, and it has animals like that, and it uses like this type of color palette.
yeah, it
So I wouldn't be
looks good.
surprised. Yeah,
For
this looks
the style of
cool.
game. Yeah,
I really like the art. It looks
yeah,
very
me
good.
too. It looks like I like this style of gameplay. Then we have obviously Sea of Stars, the big one. This like the ratings of this that I've seen has been insane.
It's like 95 on OpenCritic, I think.
Something like that, yeah. Which
Yeah.
is just below Baldur's Gate, which is, I think sits at 96.
I honestly,
It's
I'll
that
be
good.
honest. I may just be too young. Like I wasn't really born before like in 64 PS1, so like Super Nintendo was always outdated technology for me.
Like
I don't
for
know
me,
if
it's
it's
one of
just
those
like,
like I played a lot of Golden Sun, and
see,
what I
yeah, it's like,
and
yeah.
like so I do like that style of gameplay, but I do like it when it's more than just battles and move around an overworld. Like
I mean, it looks
what
like
what I
Chrono
like
Trigger.
about yeah, it
Everybody
kind of
wanted
looks
a
like
Chrono
Chrono Trigger.
Trigger remake,
Yeah,
and
and I
this
think
seems
this
to have
has been
scratched that
compared to
itch
Chrono. Yeah, this has been compared to
profoundly.
Chrono Trigger a lot. Like, but what I like about Golden Sun is the fact that you can like they bring so much of the puzzle mechanic is so tied in with like the combat and classes, so that you switch up your classes, and that means gives you different access to different spells, which you can then use outside of combat to solve puzzles. So I'm hoping there's a bit of that in here.
But the reviews are
If
really
it's
the
like I
only
should say,
thing
yeah, like the
making me
reviews
pay
being this
attention to
good,
this. Like,
yeah,
if you show me this and you show me Octopath, like there's no question I'm choosing Octopath.
yeah,
So
same.
like at
But
face value, I didn't
but
really.
with the reviews, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna check
Yeah,
it out because it's
but
on
I'm
everything
curious. Like,
anyway.
what is it? Like, like what is the big kicker for this? I'm guessing it's like narrative. I would assume gameplay loop. I don't know if it's a loop, but the experience maybe. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm a little surprised about this one. I'm a little surprised that this is.
Yeah, I think this
I
is
mean,
one
it's
of
not
these
it's not
surprise
hitting
hits.
indie darling status. It's hitting like game of the year
Masterpiece.
conversation almost.
Yeah,
Like it's gonna get
it's insane.
nominated.
Any other year, this would have been up for nomination. I think this year might
I
have
think
to
I think it
struggle.
could still get nominated.
Yeah, it's still good. Very much still good.
Especially if they do like a tiny little DLC like at the end of the year, stay relevant.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Another game coming out this week is Trine 5. I love it.
Trine's
Like,
still happening, man. Like I
yeah,
thought we were.
and
I
like
thought we were done with
it's
this.
still just as gorgeous as the first one. Like Trine games have always been like, I mean, they're pretty fun like action platformers, but which generally is a genre that I don't like. But they look so fucking gorgeous that I'm happy with to play them anyway. Um, and they're really good in co-op. So grab a friend and play it. It's out this week. And then we had Deep Rock Galactic coming out on Xbox. The Xbox edition being on GFN. It's also one of those like survival style game. It looks pretty fun. I
Yeah, this got
always
like
thought I
a
should check it out, but I've never
this
had.
got like a Twitch push or something recently, and I don't
Yeah.
know why.
Yeah, I think they have some promotion for the game probably.
Okay.
But it's like yeah, it's like you go in a mine. It's like a roguelike survival co-op. You dig, explore, trying to fight through a massive cave system, and then get back up again with the loot you found, and then you do it over and over again with your friends. Hitman we already talked about. Great game, but a little weird that so many people are bald. Maybe King's Bounty is one of those old ones. Like this is obviously like pretty much like a remake or like a I think this is a remake of a really old tactical turn-based game that I've always heard good things about. I think I own it somewhere. I never played it.
Well, wait, is this King's Bounty or is this King's Bounty 2?
This is King's Bounty: The Legend, which is
Okay.
some new one.
I thought it
some
said that
newer
King's
one.
Bounty was coming to. King's Bounty 2 was coming to GFN, but I didn't.
Yeah, no, it's this one, which is I think it might be some sort of remake. Like
It
it,
looks
it,
like
scratched just like the Heroes of Mathematic vibe in a sense. So I've always been meaning to play it, but never have. A Little Big Workshop for those of you who played this on Stadia. You can pick it up on Epic Games and play it on GFN now. Basically, build your own little factory, like production lines, and then make profit. It's a pretty good game for what it is, but it's one of those like it gets a bit stale after a while, but it's also when it gets really complex. But it's also kind of like it's always a fun time to build, try and optimize. It's harder than it looks. I have never played Naraka Blade. Have any of you guys played this?
I jumped in for this near promotion. I didn't really take to it. And part of that I think was because I figured I didn't have cross progression, which I was a little bit annoyed about.
Yeah, that's
like,
always
come
sucks.
out as 2023. But yeah, it's very like spend money. Like it just feels like that. Feels like one of those games.
Oh, yikes! Yeah,
And I don't know. It's
popular
little,
though.
It's a little bit. Ray played it recently, and he said he really enjoyed it. Yeah, I don't know. It
Yeah, I
doesn't.
mean it's free to try out, so why not try
Yeah.
it if you're interested? But yeah,
It feels a little bit. What's the word? I don't know.
Pay to win?
When you have like these melee multiplayer games, like it kind of just feels like it's like whoever can like spam the button faster. Like you're just like hitting each other, and it's like it's not very satisfying. Like there's not like a super deep like For Honor is a game that I would contrast with that. Like it's very much like go here, block, go here. Like you're very much like moving and pivoting to what your opponent is doing, and this just feels more like we hit each other and then one of us dies first because we have one of us has more hit points or like what it didn't really feel fluid. It kind of just felt like a spammy mess, and that may be just because I don't know what I'm doing and also the other person doesn't know what they're doing, but
yeah,
I mean, whatever. That's just the experience that I had with it. So it didn't make me in the course of like 2 hours that I spent with it want to invest further with it, whereas something like Texas Chainsaw Massacre did. So I count that as a knock against it, but I think there's definitely something there for people who are looking for that specific type of melee battle royale game. It's just like I don't know that it's inherently or innately got something going on for it. It's like anyone should try this or play this. I think it's for a very it's a little bit niche. It's for a specific audience that wants to play that specific type of game.
Yeah. If you own Portal and want more Portal, there was a this community mod basically that added more, even harder levels.
Yeah, that looked wild, dude. That trailer, that was insane.
Portal Prelude was a community mod, so it's free if you own Portal. Which I mean, who doesn't at this point? It's been so long since that game first came out. So if you own Portal, you can play these levels. They're much harder, and they now have an RTX mod to it. And if you own Portal, you can just slap this onto GFN this week and play this with
Portal on Xbox.
No, this is for Portal on like ray tracing PCs or GeForce Now. If you don't want to buy a super expensive PC, you could stream it using ray tracing using GFN. And they did the same with Portal itself, but now you can play also the 19 super hard levels that comes afterwards in this community created basically mod from back in the day, which is pretty cool. It's a prequel storyline on Portal. The reviews aren't that great. I think people are probably not very happy with the performance. It usually happens with these RTX mods, because what they essentially do is they go through the game with like the end on an engine level and captures like through video and photos everything they see, and then it like uses AI to basically add ray tracing to the game that doesn't have ray tracing to begin with. Performance of that is never going to be great, but with DLSS 3 and a cloud server, you could probably get some decent performance and have fun with it, providing you want more Portal. Railway Empire is one of those rail building strategy games. I think it's out on Steam already on GFN, but now the Epic version is well. Shadowrun Returns is a tabletop isometric cyberpunk tabletop game. So, if with almost like an XCOM feel, if that sounds like your jam, then there is one on. This one is on Game Pass, and I think, and it's now also on GeForce Now. Never heard of Snake. Oh, right. Snake Pass is this weird game that I keep seeing. I think it's a platformer for kids, but with a snake. So if you have phobia of snakes, don't play that. And lastly, the Story of Seasons Mineral Town, which I think is a basically Animal Crossing style game. I think there's like 10 of these, at least with the similar name. Some of them I think are PlayStation Plus Extra if you want to check that out as well. if you like it, it's now on GeForce Now. And with that, we've burned through all the news just in time for me to realize it's almost midnight over here. So let's thank you so much, guys, for joining me for the show. It's been a lot of fun having you guys on, and we did it. We did another
We
show.
did do it.
We did do it. Looking forward to the next time because I always love hanging out with all of you guys. But before we wrap up and say goodbye to the lovely chat, it's been amazing with all day. Let's go around the table and Warrock. Let's start with you. Where can people find your content? And you have anything fun planned for the next foreseeable future?
I don't know if he's.
Do
I don't
we
know
have
if he
audio?
hears us.
I think we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. So yeah, tell where can people find your content and what's in the foreseeable future for you, content wise?
I do have stuff on YouTube and I'm also on Twitter as well.
Yep.
I do have. I'm trying to do a video guys for video and ring guys, for various games, platformers, horror, racing, and I try to find out other games like too recently,
So yeah,
but,
and it's Stephen Warhawk Harris on all of those places, if I remember correctly, right?
yeah, that's why I go by on there.
So yeah, definitely give Stephen a follow and subscribe to his stuff. You do a lot of strategy guides, I think, if I remember correctly as well, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
if you're interested in strategy guides, he's got you covered. Rudix, what's happening over at your place? Is it just Armored Core for the next couple of months, or is anything other fun stuff
Listen,
coming
if
on?
you want to see big budget Hollywood explosions, games that pull your pants down and give you that excitement that you're looking for, that is From Software's Armored Core, all right? You want 2 Gatling guns and 2 grenade launchers in a fast build, maybe put it on a tank or a quadruped. You're flying in the sky shooting like crazy. Oh my goodness, the drama, the story that they're telling, the Rubiconians, the coral, everything about this game is hitting you hard. And I'm going to be playing it 10 p.m. tonight on the Rudix channel. So be sure to check that.
Yeah, shit, for sure. And like I suspect, just like with like SPG playing Baldur's Gate and David playing Baldur's Gate for the and myself playing Baldur's Gate for the next foreseeable future, I suspect you're gonna be playing Armored Core for at least until like October, right? You're not gonna have time for any
Spider-Man.
other. Yeah,
Spider-Man's
yeah,
next on my
yeah. So
agenda.
so
So
it's Armored Core and then it's Spider Man. There's a pretty big gap in between.
yes,
For anyone else, but for you, it's just gonna be Armored Core. I think you're like, yeah.
Armored Core.
I think yeah, you're deep down in that game. I love it. Kirk, what do you have planned for this week? And anything fun
Speaking of
happening?
Armored Core, we're gonna have an Armored Core video up on the channel. I think tomorrow morning. So stand by for that. That is What's New Video Games on YouTube. And just made thank you Phoenix and David for your shout outs earlier when I jumped on in hour 2, but just made affiliate on Twitch in large part thanks to this community. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Made it in pretty much only 4 Marvel Snap streams. The drop promotion and the PC launch certainly helped a lot with that as well. Great time for Marvel Snap. And speaking of the Marvel Snap, I'm about to go live on Twitch right after this, twitch.tv/KirkTheGamer. Come hang out, jump over from here to there. Probably be going for about an hour or 2. Would love to have all you guys. And yeah, I'm open for Prime subs now. So that's cool.
Nice.
You have Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I think.
But you guys are probably all subbed to somebody already. So.
I think I have mine renewing in like a week or so. So I'll drop in
Nice.
late when I have. And I think like obviously we have the we're continuing the Dragonbane tabletop RPG adventure on Tuesday.
Right.
We didn't do one this week, but next week we're definitely doing it, and I'm excited to see where the guys go from here. I mean they managed to shoot a demonic bat and try to feed it to a wolf and get their hand bitten off. So who knows what they're gonna get up to when they reach the next quest location? Probably gonna be some shenanigans. and I'm just gonna have to roll with it. And yeah, I'm other than that working on a review of the physical copy of Dragonbane, which I have right here. It's pretty dope. And other than that, she's still churning on Baldur's Gate 3 and Stray Gods, trying to get reviews out for those, and also Taylor Swift stuff on my other channel, because why not? It's fun. Did also some other metal reactions on there as well, and having a blast with that. And also, don't forget, if you're a fan of fantasy, in about 2 hours, I think, Wheel of Time Season 2 is starting. So I'm really excited about that, because that's one of my favorite shows. No one got shot in the ass last week on part 2, Phoenix, and I can't make any promises for part 3, because we still have Orla the half elf, Orla the elf, played by Ray, and she can shoot her arrows twice and sometimes hit people in their ass. Yes, Wheel of Time Season 2 dropping in just 2 hours, I think it is. So I'm definitely gonna check that out maybe tomorrow. Gonna be great. Great show. Great. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Rosamund Pike and a bunch of other great actors in a massive fantasy story that actually has an ending compared to what Game of Thrones have. So yeah. But with that out of the way, let's just roll the outro and wish all you a good night. See you next week. Bye.